Hey there everybody, it is Friday, July 15th and it is time for my sketchbook review. A couple purchases this week and of course sketches, but first things first, I will want to go over this. Yes, so I went last Saturday to Michael's and Hobby Lobby because they were both open, and I decided to go ahead and start purchasing things for the BJD mouse I've got. So I went ahead and I picked up these Derwent watercolors, the 12 set. Unfortunately, I didn't notice when I bought it that it didn't have a white, and white's kind of important when you're doing the eyes for, well actually not for the BJD I've got, but the white would come in handy for some of the lip details. So I'm going to see if I can order just a white watercolor pencil offline. I think I can through like, Dick Blick or something like that. If not, I could check Amazon, or if I have to, I'll just go ahead and gift this and get a bigger set or something like that. I'll figure it out. But yeah, so this ran a pretty penny, but it wasn't too bad. It was much cheaper than the 24 set or the 36 cents, $36 or 36 count set, but this should work. So there's part of that. And then I went and I got some Prismacolor pastels. I went ahead and opened them already just to make sure that none of them were broken. And they look fantastic. A little messy, but that's to be expected. They're pastels. So I just went with a basic set because I know I'm not going to be using these other than just for BJDs and things like that. I didn't see the point in getting a big expensive set. So as long as I had some sort of a brown and some sort of a nice pink color, I knew I would be okay. So I'm happy with it, and it'll work for Piper's Face Up. When I get a chance, I'll probably get a bigger set. I know you don't have to go like name brand for the pastels, but I did. And I know a lot of people said that the more expensive watercolor pencils you get, the better quality of color you get, and that's why I went with that. So either way. Okay, and today I went and I grabbed this. I have been using just a Strathmore sketchbook for my character development, but I was penning everything and the lines were going through, and I was like, you know, I might just have to bite the bullet and just go buy another one and make it a drawing pad instead. So the poundage is 80, and I always try to get 70 and above for anything I know I'm going to ink, just so that way the paper will handle the ink without it bleeding through and showing to the other side. So this will do fantastic, and I'm going to get into this later on tonight, I think, while I'm live streaming, because I've decided that I've had a rotten day and I'm going to live stream, so I mean, that's how I cope. But alright, so there's that, and then I had a fabulous person send me a gift that I was kind of expecting, but kind of not at the same time. But, I'm sorry, plasticky noises, but you'll see why in just a second. But it actually came in a box, and I tore open the box without thinking, but these in here are all different kinds of col erase pencils. There's different brands in here. There's Prismacolor, there's Sanford, there's I don't know if you can see that or not. Focus. It's hard to focus on these metallic fonts. Eberhard, Faber, things like that. But this person sent me all of these for free, I should add, which is absolutely amazing. And there's just so many. I shouldn't need any color erase. I mean, it's not all the colors of the rainbow, but I've been really babying my Prismacolor color erase ones. See, there's a Prismacolor right here. And it's the Carmine Red, which is actually what I've been using a lot of lately. But yeah, I totally am so happy. Like, I know I don't sound it. I've got an awful headache, I'm not gonna lie. But I needed to record this. And I just got out of a lecture, so I'm like, ugh. But I'm so, like, totally happy. You have no idea. I'm bouncing off the walls. Like, I need to find something to keep these in. Actually, I meant to buy something. I think I might have something, though. I have some totes. But no, super, super happy. I know that, like, I feel bad when people send me stuff, but like if they're gonna flat out say, you know, oh well, it's just going to waste, and yeah, I'll totally take it because it won't go to waste with me. I'll probably start going through these. I'm gonna have to learn to like orange from the looks of it, but orange and yellow. But yeah, super happy. All of these, just And I went ahead and I sharpened ones that weren't already sharpened, and I sharpened a couple different ones, and I went ahead and tested the different kinds together to see how erasable they are and things like that. And that's going to be part of my sketchbook review today. So alright, let's get on to that. I'm going to do a quick rundown of my week after I do my sketches, so there's going to be that. Okay, so first up, we've got a picture of Piper telling Jean that she's not a prostitute, because I had this headcanon thing going on in my head about about how Jean mistakes Piper for a prostitute to begin with, because she's not wearing a laborer's uniform or anything like that when he comes across her. She's wearing a regular dress. So the girls who wear regular dresses in the city he lives in tend to be prostitutes or mothers. And since she doesn't have any kids with her visibly, or look like she's ever had kids, or is even old enough really to be having kids, he just assumes that she's a prostitute. Ha ha ha. And then this is a picture of Ginny Weasley and Draco Malfoy. Now, this is actually in like flash from the past. This was originally this image here, which actually got really popular in the Harry Potter fandom. This is a picture I did back in 2002, and I was live streaming and I didn't have any idea what to draw, so everyone was like, oh, pull out those old folders you're talking about with your old art and stuff like that. So I pulled this out and I was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and redraw it. This I have found stolen on so many websites. I've found it on people's profiles, so I just kind of give up trying to lay claim to it anymore, because, you know, nobody believes me anyway. But this is the original. My signature 2002. Everything's the same. So I did a redraw of it, more of my current style, but I wasn't very happy with it. I just kind of redrew it as something to draw. Oh, my camera's casting a shadow and I hate it. Whatever. But yeah, so there's this, Ginny Weasley and Draco Malfoy in my current style. And then I was asked to do another one. Well, I just kind of felt like it was fun, so I went ahead and kept doing it. And so this is a redraw of this character. We'll go with the color version from back in 2004. I used to roleplay Dragon Ball Z all the time, and I had a Saiyan female named Ichigo, and this was before Bleach, guys, so Ichigo was not a popular name at all. It meant strawberry, and I had this thing of naming my female Saiyans after fruits and my male Saiyans after vegetables. So I had Ichigo and I had Suika. Suika didn't get roleplayed as much because I don't know why, but Ichigo was roleplayed a ton, and she had like backstory, she had like involvement and all sorts of things. This was actually from 03, then I finished it in 04. So I did a quick redraw of her that kind of matched her personality a little bit more. I really like how the redraw came out. It's really nice. It's a little bit shiny, but that's because my lights are in terrible positioning. But yeah, I got a little power energy ball over here. She's got that I'm gonna kick your ass sort of look, and yeah. She never actually in roleplay got to reach Super Saiyan because the group fell apart before then, but she was working at it for a really long time, and the idea was eventually she was going to become one. We used to do, going Super Saiyan was always based on like dice rolls and things like that, and my dice rolls just never added up. It was ridiculous. Like, technically she was there, but roleplay wise and number wise she was not, so yeah. A flash into my past. Back in the 2000s. I drew a quick dude going yo bibby and with a pompadour, and I was drawing like this old dude with like a hangy little ookity, and I drew a Pidgeotto or whatever profile, whatever. And then I went on Instagram because, again, the next night I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to draw, and I put out there, you know, ship requests. One of my OCs with pretty much whoever And amazingly, Edwin and Piper was a pretty big popular request. So I did 2 of them. I started with this one. I wasn't very happy with it because her head is just too small compared to his. So I went ahead and did this one. And he's supposed to be kind of moving in to give her a smooch, and she's just kind of looking away at the same time. And that was what I was going with this one. But at the same time, I had he was speaking to her because if you guys can recall back to way back when she was taking care of him, because he tore his wing in that little sidebar thingy-mabobber I had going, the idea is she finishes her job, but he's trying to find reasons to keep her around because he likes her. And at some point he says, well, I need somebody to help take care of me when I'm on tour. So she goes with him on tour as a maid to take care of him and, you know, set up, well, really not even to set up the hotel or anything like that, but just as a companion and someone to help take care of him, get his clothes laid out, whatever she needed to do. And I imagine he would have to really butter her up for it because traveling kind of scares Piper. She's not a fan of it. But she is very excited to do things like go overseas to Europe and things like that. And in my mind, that he would have to butter her up a little bit to get her to go. So yeah, that would do it. And then this, I was listening to Les Miserables, and I did a quick picture of Piper singing from Les Miserables. The second most common request was Lisraine and Piper, and I always imagine Lisraine to be very playful with her, kind of to the point of harassing her, but it's not like a devious harassment, but like pointing things out. Like in this case, he's pointing out, oh, your bodice is loose, blah blah blah. Well, you know, he's just teasing her, but obviously it's gonna embarrass her. But you know, so social justice warriors kind of scare me when I do jokes like this because I don't think that they've ever been in a real relationship before. You do tease each other like that. You're like, hey, your fly is open, or hey, you know, your bra strap's undone. That's just kind of the way that people in relationships do treat each other. It's just teasing. It's not meant to be like discriminative or evil or anything like that, which it tends to be. Is like, I understand it if somebody says stop and they don't stop. That's a different story completely. But what I'm saying is that between these two, they probably would banter back and forth like that all the time. It's because it's just like playful in their world, so whatever. But he's also not being a jerk and untying it. He's just saying, hey, it's loose, but she probably would let him take it off anyway. Just saying. Then there was a request for Piper Piper, and I was like, okay, you know, Piper Piper, Piper Bunny braiding Piper Mouse's hair, and them complimenting each other on it, because that's how they would do it. Then there was a request for Nega Piper and Nega Duck, and I think she would just annoy the crap out of him, because it depends on who's role-playing him, but in my experience, the person role-playing him is like, the more you're interested in him, the less he's interested in you, sort of thing. It's like, yeah. Plus, Nega Piper is really, really weird, and I would not encourage anybody to ever hook up with her, because she's crazy. And then Miss Venomous Cupcake over on DeviantArt, well, on DeviantArt too, on Instagram had a couple weeks ago, not a couple weeks ago, my frame of time is just way off. About a week ago, had done an OC of her original character. Oh my god, let me start over again. A week ago, Miss Venomous Cupcake had drawn her OC Duo as a mouse, and we've talked a little bit in instant message and stuff like that about, oh, you know, how he would react to whoever. And honestly, I think that he and Cherry would get along on like this really annoyed level. Oh my god, this is hard. Okay, Cherry likes to annoy people. She is a pest. That is exactly how she was designed. And from what I've gathered, Duo is sort of a grumpy, sort of get out my face sort of dude. And I was like, okay, they would go together well. And when I put up the ship request, she said, hey, ship Duo with one of your OCs. I was like, well, of course it's going to be Cherry. Piper would probably just never talk to Duo. If he honestly was like that grumpy, she just would not talk to him. The only reason she tolerates Jean in alternate universes is because they grew up together. Jean's not that grumpy, and in any universe where they didn't grow up together. But in the one where they grew up together, which is kind of the canon one that I've got going for Jean and Piper, he is grumpy. But she tolerates it because she just yells at him all the time and gets her way 90% of the time. Anyway, so I drew a picture of Terri and Duo, and they're like oddly close together here, so it's like almost very invasive, and that was kind of the point but kind of not the point, and I wasn't really sure, and I was like, you know what, I don't care, I'm so tired, because I was doing all of these sketches after work, and I was like okay. And then here is where I did that erasable color pencil comparison. And so this is the Sanford, and as you can see, it doesn't really erase all that well. The Eberhard doesn't either. The Ticonderoga, I guess it's called, it erases very well. And this is the new Prismacolor, erases really well. The old Prismacolor has difficulty, but it is nice to know this is a very soft lead, and I do like working with softer leads. This is a nice soft lead, this is a nice soft lead, but these two, well, three really, are all hard leads. The Eberhard is incredibly hard. I was actually surprised at that compared to either of these two. The Prismacolor, the old one, was a very hard lead as well, and so is the new one. But the new one, I don't know what they did different with their lead. I know that they did change their color erase lead at one point, because I was researching all sorts of erasable color pencils, and I was reading animators notes and things like that on it, and the old version of Prismacolor was not a favored one, but the new one really, really is. So if you guys are looking for alternatives, I think you can only get this in blue and red. I'm not 100% sure. And I know you can get it in just regular graphite. But the Ticonderoga ones, or whatever, I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. I like those. And the new Prismacolors are probably my favorite. Sanford works, and I think Sanford comes in multiple colors, so you can get that too. The Eberhard you can get in all sorts of different colors too, but it's not going to erase as well, but it does erase. Now this is with the eraser that came with it. If you use a regular just white eraser, it does erase relatively well. So you just have to use a different eraser to erase if you're using the Eberhard. Everything else, this, you know, the Prismacolor color erase color pencils, the new ones, erase fine with their own eraser. The T ones, they erase with their own eraser. The Sanford probably would erase better with a white one too, but just notes for you guys. And then I went ahead and I was using the T1 again because I enjoyed it. I just did a couple doodles. I did a quick cherry here. And then I did a, oh my god, what's his name? I know it's Bradshaw. Oh my god, I can't think of it. I want to say Timothy, but I know it's not. I can't think of it right now, and I'm drawing a big blank. I have not even approached this character in a long time, so I don't remember. I am the worst creator ever. Okay, so, and then there was another page. I did a quick bunny Piper, and I did a bunny, or not a bunny, a mouse Piper holding a daisy as like a little umbrella thing again. But these were super late at night. I was live streaming. I had, again, a terrible headache. I'd had a really hard day. So yes, this was all that has been done. But again, yeah, this is it for sketches. But again, I've been working all week. I mean, today's my first day off, and I actually had to go into work anyway because they were doing a presentation on the placebo effect, and I really, really wanted to get in there. And I really, really, really wanted to listen to our therapist talk about the placebo effect and how just saying the right thing can offer a verbal placebo and calm 99.9% of your patients down. So yes, I was so excited. Plus, I wanted to meet the therapist who works on the floor I'm going to be working on, and I also wanted to meet some of the nurses who just happened to be there, the nurses from my unit. So yes, so even on my day off, I went into work and worked. I got paid for it though, so I'm okay. And it counts towards my extended education credits and ECUs, extended credit, whatever. I know I don't have to do those for like 2 years, but I'd rather start sooner than later because I don't want to get up to that 2-year mark and realize, oh, I got to do like 25 ECUs and I don't have anything to do. Anyway, but that's it for the sketches. So I'm going to go into a little bit about my week and then I'll go ahead and close out. But yeah, this week has been very long because of the unit that I'm getting hired into, which is behavioral health. a lot of this pre-education is not required for me, but it is required for me because at any point during a disaster, I can get pulled any place, so I still need to know it. So it's a lot of starting IVs, which I know how to do, cleaning IV sites, cleaning PICC lines, central lines, things like that, sterile technique, using the lifts, transferring patients. We did a couple simulations. I rocked out on those simulations. I can do CPR like a boss. Of course, I spent like forever doing CPR, so whatever. I did catch a few things in the simulations. I'm not tooting my own horn, but I'm like, yeah, that was pretty good of me. But at the same time, I'm trying to remain humble because it's like, you know, I can't expect people to know everything all the time, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, ugh. But I did get complimented by one of the instructors. She told me that she couldn't let me go to behavioral health because she wants me in her OR. And I was like, oh, yeah, don't inflate my ego, please, because it's going to go. But I can't do OR. It's a bloodbath in there. Anyway, but it was actually a really kind of laid back week, and I still have Paragon training, which is computer training, Monday and Tuesday. Then I have Wednesday off, and then I'm going to be starting my actual shadowing rotation. And I met my main preceptor just this past Wednesday. And he seems really cool, so I'm excited about that. Overall, I'm just excited about everything, but I really, really want to get on the floor and get going with that. It's just one of those things. I know I'm not going to know what to do until I'm in the environment, because there's so many, like, they're teaching me everything right now, but I know that once I get on the floor, everything's going to change because behavioral health is a completely different monster. Like, they're like, oh, here's your crash cart, but you don't have this, this, and this on your crash cart. And I'm like, yeah, I know. We take medically stable patients. We shouldn't be having codes on our floor unless something really bad happens. So I get it, but at the same time, it's like, let me get on my floor and start working, please. But they do have me scheduled for full-time hours for the next 3 weeks. And from what I understand, they still have not hired for the floor we're on, and they can't seem to find people, which is weird because one of the girls who's hiring it with me wanted it. But they were saying that I will definitely have hours, which is good because I need the hours. And I'm trying to determine whether I should just go full-time for benefits and retirement and things like that, or if I just should stay part-time and manage all of that on my own. It's a really hard adulting decision that I have to make here pretty soon, because I know that as soon as my my precepture is up, they're gonna ask me if I want to go full time, and part of me wants to, but part of me is like, I don't want a 40-hour cap, you know what I mean? Because after 40 hours, that's the only time you get time and a half. But if I'm part-time and I work over 24 hours in a 2-week period, then that's time and a half. So you see the conundrum. I could potentially make a lot more money being full-time. But if they happen to get a big round of hirees in for those full-time positions, then those hours are gone and I don't get any sort of extra time. So it's one of those things where I'm just kind of up in the air, but there's time to figure it out. Anyway, so that's been my week. It's actually been really, really depressing this week, I'm not gonna lie, because like I come home to talk to people about my day and there's nobody to talk to. Everybody's busy, or nobody's really that interested anymore. And that's something I've kind of been struggling with, because I was expecting people to be excited for my new job and to come and ask me, it's like, how are you doing? You know, how's your new job? How are the people? Blah, blah, blah. And nobody has done it. I mean, there's like 1 or 2 people who have, but it usually comes with prompting, and I don't like that, because I don't, honestly, as I sit here talking about myself, don't like talking about myself that much to actual people. Talking to a camera is a different story, but it is what it is. Again, it's the adult world. You're not always going to have somebody there, how was your day, honey? I understand that, but it's like, man, it's like, when it was a job I wasn't excited about, everybody was like right there asking me how it was. And now that it is a job I'm excited about, it's like I'm just bubbling to tell people and nobody's asking. I'm like, yeah, why? But again, oh yeah, and the second I say what I'm doing, I mean, why do you want to work with crazy people? I was like, you do realize that there really are not that many crazy people in the world, and that they're just regular people like you and me? Hello? These preconceived notions within our nation. Ugh. They drive me up the wall. Anyway, that's enough of that. So if you guys like what you saw, feel free to like, subscribe, comment below. I'm probably going to be live streaming later on tonight. I bought a whole bag of red vine, so I'm ready to rock it out. Yeah, so I expect that next week's probably going to be a little bit lighter on the sketch load. We'll wait and see, but maybe it'll be better. Who knows? Who knows? Because I'm going to be on first shift, so I'll be out by 3:30 on Friday. So I'll probably do my sketchbook review later on in the afternoon that day, but whatever. So, all right, if you guys like what you saw, like, subscribe, comment below. I already said that. So I will see you guys in next week's sketchbook review.